Did you know that you could potentially waste the money that you're spending on your advertisement? And even if you're not profitable, even if your return on investment is not good, did you know that you can actually make more sales from the money that you spend without spending any more additional dollars? In this video, I want to talk about the concept that a lot of top sellers are using to grow new Etsy shops extremely fast. This is something that I've been doing, and I've been selling on Etsy for the past 7 years. I collectively manufacture for Etsy shop that collectively make anywhere from $6,000 to $15,000 in sales per day. I personally, with my Etsy shop, sold over 200,000 sales on Etsy, and this is the strategy or understanding the concept that I'm going to talk about in this video is going to be the reason why you're going to be separated from the general pack. The general pack makes $600. You're going to make quadruple that, and you're going to keep growing, because what I talk about in this video is going to be super, super critical when it comes to Etsy advertisement money. Understanding this concept is going to set you free from really worrying about day-to-day spending to revenue. So we already talked about Etsy advertisement, but I think understanding advertisement is going to be the cornerstone of you growing your business or really being successful on your journey of taking your Etsy shops to the next level. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now, as you've probably seen on my previous video, I'm going to kind of review a little bit. When you spend money on advertisement, it doesn't just correlate directly to revenue. And in fact, a lot of times people only decide to turn on and turn off advertisement based on return on ad spend, which is not the correct way to see the advertisement spend. What you need to see instead is that these 507 people have now become a retargeting target by Etsy. Etsy's not going to leave them alone. As a company, Etsy wants to make sure that every seller gets exactly what they want. Now, if a customer has clicked on our listing, they have told Etsy that to some degree they are interested in a product like this. Now, what happens is at next time that some Etsy seller comes back on Etsy, all the things they clicked on are going to be appeared on their dashboard. So that's one of the correlation where we have now altered their dashboard, right? We have altered what they're going to see. Now, my wife might have clicked on some stuff, but it's going to alter their dashboard. The other one, if indeed they're going to look for, say, dog collars, right? I just typed in a very popular keyword, a very, very, very sought out keyword, something that everybody wants to rank on. It's a very popular keyword. My internet's a little slow right now, but it's a really popular keyword. In not that I click on people's advertisement, but people that might have spent money are now appearing on my first front page. So these are the people that might get money as a return on their investment. So they're going to be retargeted here. Now, let's just, for example, say I'm going to click on this. Etsy will then retarget again once you scrolled past, and maybe you didn't like anything. Hey, but you also might like this. Now, this is not considered advertisement. Some of these might be. Some of these include advertising. Actually, I should say, yeah, some of these do include ad, but not all of them. That means your organic listing can continue being retargeted to that customer. Now, also, yeah, there's just so many different ways. If you click on lookalikes, you're going to get a lot more lookalikes, and you're going to be retargeted here. So that's another correlation. So you're ultimately getting your money's worth that you spend here. This is not going to, the resell or the retargeting revenue that you're going to get is not going to appear here. It's going to appear on your total revenue. And that's something people don't realize. Now, retargeting, like I mentioned, is one of the biggest and most important form of marketing for Etsy, right? That is the warmest customer. That is the lowest hanging fruit that Etsy could target. So they're never, ever, ever, ever going to let these people go without at least attempting multiple times to give them the product that they've clicked on or something that looks similar. It's just the way any marketing works. So if you've run Facebook ads, if you've ran any kind of advertisement on Google, on YouTube, retargeting is one of the most highest converting traffic. Now, what does this also mean? It also means that when a platform, any platform, is showing you advertisement that you might more likely be interested, you are also happy with the experience because you're not looking at things you're not interested. You always want to constantly be fed things that are interesting. Every single algorithm works the same way. Marketplace, they want to be the same way. They want to only give you something you are interested in. And so this really helps These clicks really helps Etsy to understand their customers. And here's the other cool thing, and this is I wanted to kind of talk about this even further. When I just came to the to the front page of my of just Etsy, right? I'm not even looking for dog collars. There might be another dog person that's clicking on dogs, but also clicks on this. We've probably never clicked on this. We haven't even looked at anything. But Etsy knows that, hey, we might have somebody in our family that's turning 60. Hey, we might need something, a gift for mom. Maybe that person is in the age where their parents are starting to get sick. And that's something that Etsy starts to recognize and then retarget the customers that are going to be in the future. Okay, again, so this is really important. Now, we're going to talk about how to take advantage of this in a second here, but just to realize that these clicks are so priceless in the sense that, or I should say, they're priced a lot higher than the money that you spend, because there's going to be really retargeting your other customers and bring other customers to your store. So I want to mention that advertising builds your store. You're not just, if you didn't make a sale, then that ends right there. No, it builds upon. So it builds by painting out your future customers so that Etsy could advertise your listings further and in the future. So that's why I'm never in the favor of just looking on a return on ad spend, because you're thinking so small. You got to think bigger. You got to think that you're building something. You're building upon views and so on and so on. So going back to my previous comment I said in a previous video, creating a sustainable advertisement strategy has to be a priority for any Etsy shop. It has to be a priority. So what's the first step of building a successful Etsy shop or utilizing and understanding this concept? First one is build a sustainable advertisement strategy. Now, like I mentioned in my previous video, you either figure out the right product or you figure out the right way to sell it, whatever product you're selling. Now, again, you might have to retarget a different keyword. You might need to put a personalization on it. You might need to put a different twist on it. If you're doing wallets, do groomsmen wallets, not just any wallets, but personalized wallets, not just personalized wallets, but maybe gold undertone. Just start thinking about creative ways to sell or outstand your competition so that you can have a profitable advertisement, so that you can have a sustainable advertisement. A lot of times people think about having a profitable advertisement as a way of like, finally I make money. I see profitable advertisement as a way to set sustainability for my Etsy business. And this is, by the way, side note, this is sometimes why I'm okay selling products that might not be profitable, even on the face of it. But I'm happy to let this one feed the data to then bring customers to listings that are profitable or that do sell out. Now, when they start really falling low and really start losing me money, that's when I start getting, kind of antsy about it. I mean, you could put a number on it. You could say, okay, if it falls below, 0.5 and then it's spending above $300, I'm going to pull that. You can have that, sure. But the point is that I want to build upon these clicks. I want these clicks to paint the picture to the Etsy algorithm about my Etsy shop, about my Etsy products, because I'm going to keep building. I'm going to add more listings and I'm going to keep doing this. But all that is possible, again, if you have a sustainable advertisement strategy. It's sustainable, meaning you can do it long term. Your ads are running for a long period of time. Okay, so second thing, this is really important. And I've said this in my previous video. I wanted to kind of expand this on this a little bit more. This concept right here, the fact that I'm doing a very specific design because that increases my click-through rate. The reason why this is so important is because when Etsy retargets a very specific year, for example, to a very specific type of gift, it's going to find a more accurate lookalike audience that is more likely to buy your product. So not only are these, let's go back to the revenue or the high revenue, not only are these customers going to be finding lookalike audience, but if you have specific product targeting specific keywords, you are more likely to find a specific customer that has a higher chance to buy your product. So not only are we retargeting a lookalike audience, but we're finding lookalike audience that are more likely to buy a very specific product. We're not retargeting them with a white mug or a mug that just has florals on it. No, we're retargeting that lookalike audience that has a joke about fishing right? It's a very specific joke. And maybe you can combine two. And I've heard this a concept when you're doing print on demand that you want to combine two very passionate things like hunting and coffee. You combine two of those, it makes a very specific person, then they're more likely to buy. Now, that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. But the point is you're hyper specific to your specific listing, that you use this concept of retargeting to be even more effective. Okay, so the first one, create a sustainable advertisement strategy. The second is make sure that you're increasing your listing volume so that you're retargeting very specific, or you're targeting very specific keywords, you're targeting specific customers. So you have a listing creation factory where you're going to create a lot of really high quality listings so that you can then retarget more specific customers. Because more specific customers, this is why if you're retargeting a broad customer base, you're getting a smaller click-through rate. But if you're doing a smaller group of people, this is not updating here for me, you have a higher click-through rate because you're hyper targeting a certain kind of customer. Oops. There, you're hyper targeting a specific kind of customer. You're more likely to make more money if you target 100 or 300 different listings, doing 200 people per listing, than having just one or two listings. Although that still works, and during holiday seasons you're gonna have a lot more listings like that, and that's also great, but that's temporary. This is temporary. It can go up and it can go down, and it can go away. You don't want to build your whole business on just a few listings. The idea is that you want to create a hyper-specific listing. Again, this is a strategy. This is not strategy for everybody. If you're selling a 20 to 30 item Etsy shop, you have a kind of like a major products, then you're going to, like I said, you're going to really try to provide the best value for that percentage. So that's the second thing, is creating a hyper-specific listing. And number three, when you are going to be retargeting customer, you want to make sure that customer is going to be retargeted well, okay? So what does that mean? So first, thumbnail. The reason thumbnail is important because the way the customers are going to be retargeted are several ways, right? They're going to be on front page. They're going to alter the dashboard. They're going to alter their feed or the results that they type in, even on the keyword that you're like really good keywords. Like for example, if I'm selling dog collars, the keyword dog collars is a really good keyword. They're more likely to type in those keywords than a very specific keyword. So, but also they're going to be retargeted with hey, abandoned carts. They're going to be saying, hey, don't forget about this listing. And in abandoned cart, the format is going to be simplified. Or they're going to retarget them with offsite ads like Google and social media. They're not going to have all the photos. They're just going to have the thumbnail. So thumbnail is going to be super critical. And then they do emails oftentimes. So making sure that not only your thumbnail, but also your title looks good. Now, don't start changing out your title, even thumbnail. Just have that in mind when you're creating the listing, because this listing is going to be retargeting the customers. And I even recommend that, like for example, we do dog collars. I even recommend that even in the variation, when they have the option to choose, specify which design type this looks like, because like I said, they might not go on page 2, photo 2, photo 3, photo 4, but make that thumbnail work really, really well on every single platform. Right now, you can also make sure that photo 2, 3, and 4 look good, but just make more emphasis on that thumbnail. Make sure that you're selling it well. Right, this is with the well part of the listing. Now, on Etsy, you want to go, so that I talk about three. So the first one is thumbnail. Second one is that listing. Make sure that your listing photos look good, that every information is described well in the listing photos, so that when they are retargeted, they have a higher chance to buy it faster, because you want to just to buy it. You don't want them to start reading the description. Anything that can be in a photo from a description, just transfer it to that. You don't need to write it in the description. Description should be a very simple way to help them to purchase the product. Don't start talking ChatGPT of how great your product is. That stuff does not work. So whatever can be put in a photo, put it there. Stefan from Hello Custom, he said that you want to shop your listing, not your store. Like me, you want your customers to shop your listing, not your store. So that's the second layer. Now the third layer is make sure that your overall store looks good, but that's not as important, but it's still kind of important if you're retargeting customers. If they've already favored your shop and they're coming back to your store to take a look at it, make sure that it looks nice and fresh. But the most important one is the thumbnail. So let's summarize this really quick. So in order to have growth, you need to have a sustainable advertisement strategy. strategy. And a sustainable advertisement strategy is a profitable strategy, something that the moment you get profitability, don't be excited by spending that money. Be excited that your advertisement can be a longer duration. Like you can sustain a growth much longer. You want to reinvest into growth. The second thing, because it's going to retarget customer, make it easier to retarget by being hyper specific on the designs that you're making. Make sure that you're designing specifically to your customer. Don't think about your own style. Think about what is the customer going to like and what is that very specific customer going to like. And the third thing is make sure that your thumbnail, more specifically thumbnail, but also the rest of your listing is highest quality possible, because they're going to be retargeted and you want that retargeting to be the most effective. Okay, so hopefully this video was useful. If it was, make sure to like this video. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. Until next time, you guys have a great one.